Confidence is magnetic, but only when it is paired with humility and self-awareness. Women are naturally drawn to men who are sure of themselves without needing to dominate, belittle, or control others. This specific masculine trait is not about loud declarations, grand gestures, or performative displays. It is about an internal sense of certainty, a quiet assurance that a man knows who he is, what he wants, and how to navigate his life. True confidence comes from self-trust. A man who trusts himself does not seek constant validation from a woman. He can express interest and affection without needing reassurance that it is reciprocated. He can hold space for her emotions without being destabilized by them. This balance communicates stability, strength, and independence, all qualities that naturally attract women. When a man does not cling, negotiate, or over-explain, his confidence becomes palpable, and it feels safe to lean into. Many men confuse arrogance with confidence. Arrogance seeks to impress or dominate. It relies on external validation and often undermines emotional connection. Confidence, on the other hand, is internally grounded. It does not demand agreement, attention, or approval. A confident man can be wrong, can apologize, and can admit vulnerability without losing his sense of self. This humility amplifies attraction because it signals that his strength is real, not performative. Another key aspect of confident masculinity is decisiveness. Women are drawn to men who can make choices quickly and clearly, whether it is about planning a date, navigating a problem, or taking the lead in life decisions. This decisiveness does not mean disregarding her perspective or acting impulsively. It means that a man has clarity in his priorities and can act on them without hesitation. When decisions are made with integrity and consideration, they communicate leadership and reliability, which are intensely attractive. Confidence also shows itself in the way a man carries himself daily. His routines, habits, and interactions are consistent with his values and goals. He does not bend unnaturally to please others, nor does he become defensive when challenged. This consistency builds trust and respect over time. A woman senses when a man's confidence is authentic because it aligns with how he navigates all areas of his life, not just his interactions with her. Importantly, confidence without arrogance allows space for connection. A man who is self-assured does not need to control a woman or the dynamics of the relationship. He can hold his center while inviting her into his world. This freedom feels refreshing because it removes pressure, expectations, and insecurity. Women are instinctively drawn to men who provide stability and autonomy simultaneously. Confidence without arrogance is also attractive because it demonstrates emotional intelligence. A confident man can manage his emotions, remain calm under stress, and navigate conflict without resorting to aggression or manipulation. He models self-regulation, which creates a safe environment for desire to grow. Women respond to the energy of a man who is strong internally rather than externally performing strength. Ultimately, confidence without arrogance is magnetic because it signals mastery of self, clarity of purpose, and the ability to lead without force. Women are drawn not to the man who demands attention or proves worth, but to the man who knows his value inherently and invites her presence naturally. When confidence is grounded, authentic, and humble, attraction becomes effortless and lasting. One of the most powerful traits a man can demonstrate in a relationship is emotional stability, especially under pressure. Women are instinctively drawn to men who remain grounded when challenges arise because stability signals strength, reliability, and trustworthiness. This is not about being stoic or detached. It is about managing emotions with awareness, clarity, and resilience, which creates an environment where attraction can flourish naturally. Emotional stability starts with self-regulation. A man who can feel his emotions without being overwhelmed by them communicates a sense of control and inner security. He does not react impulsively to minor irritations, misunderstandings, or disagreements. Instead, he responds thoughtfully, maintaining calm and perspective. Women are drawn to this presence because it allows them to relax, knowing they are not responsible for managing his emotional state. Stability feels safe, and safety fuels desire. Many men mistake emotional expression for weakness. They believe that showing intensity or reacting strongly demonstrates passion. In reality, uncontrolled emotional highs and lows often create tension and confusion, which undermines attraction. A man who demonstrates stability does not suppress emotion. He feels it fully, but he expresses it in a measured, controlled way. This balance signals maturity, self-awareness, and strength, which are key pillars of masculine energy. Emotional stability also communicates reliability. When a man remains steady in the face of stress, setbacks, or unexpected challenges, he shows that he can be counted on. Women instinctively pick up on this because it signals that he is capable of handling not just minor relational conflicts, but the larger complexities of life. Consistent emotional regulation assures her that the relationship is anchored in calm rather than reactive chaos, and this assurance deepens attraction. Conflict is an unavoidable part of any relationship, and this is where emotional stability becomes most apparent. A man who can navigate disagreements without escalation demonstrates leadership and composure. He listens without interrupting, expresses his perspective without aggression, and seeks solutions rather than victory. This creates a dynamic where connection is strengthened rather than strained, and where desire remains intact even when tensions arise. Another important aspect of emotional stability is resilience. Life will inevitably bring disappointments, frustrations, and external pressures. A man who maintains his center despite external challenges signals that his energy is self-sufficient. He does not rely on his partner to soothe or validate him constantly. This independence is deeply attractive because it frees the woman to engage willingly rather than feeling obligated or burdened. Stability also allows for authentic intimacy. A man who manages his emotions effectively can be vulnerable without being destabilized. He can share fears, hopes, and dreams without turning them into demands or pressures. This controlled vulnerability fosters deep connection, trust, and mutual respect, creating an emotional environment that naturally ignites desire. Importantly, emotional stability under pressure is felt before it is recognized intellectually. Women often sense it in tone, posture, and energy. They notice the difference between a man who is reactive and one who is grounded. This subtle energy communicates security and strength more powerfully than words or actions alone ever could. Ultimately, emotional stability under pressure is one of the most attractive masculine traits because it demonstrates mastery of self, resilience, and presence. It signals that a man is capable of handling life's uncertainties while maintaining a calm, reliable, and inviting energy. When a man embodies emotional stability, attraction becomes effortless because it creates trust, safety, and an environment where connection can deepen naturally. One of the most compelling traits a man can demonstrate in a relationship is purpose-driven direction. Women are instinctively drawn to men who lead their own lives with clarity and intention because it signals strength, focus, and self-reliance. This trait is magnetic not because of status, wealth, or charisma alone, but because it communicates that a man knows who he is, where he is going, and how to move through life with discipline and determination. Purpose begins internally. A man with direction is aligned with his values, goals, and priorities. He invests his energy in building a life that reflects his vision rather than reacting solely to external circumstances or the expectations of others. This clarity creates a sense of stability that women feel instinctively. When she senses that a man is moving with intention, she experiences both security and excitement. Security because he is grounded, and excitement because he is driven. Many men confuse business with direction or activity with purpose. They fill their lives with tasks, social interactions, or distractions and believe that motion alone demonstrates masculinity. But true direction is not about being constantly busy. It is about moving toward meaningful objectives. A man who cultivates habits, routines, and goals that reflect his values embodies a kind of energy that draws women effortlessly. His life has structure, and structure communicates self-mastery. Direction also communicates leadership without dominance. A man with purpose does not need to control others to feel empowered. He makes decisions confidently, communicates clearly, and takes responsibility for his choices. This kind of leadership is attractive because it signals competence and reliability. A woman can sense that she is joining a man who is capable of navigating life's challenges rather than someone who is uncertain or dependent. Consistency is a key component of purpose-driven direction. A man who acts with intention day after day rather than sporadically demonstrates integrity and trustworthiness. His actions align with his words, and this alignment reinforces respect and attraction. Women instinctively respond to patterns of behavior more than isolated moments of charm or grand gestures. A life led with consistent direction creates the kind of magnetic energy that sustains long-term interest. Purpose-driven direction also allows for polarity in relationships. A man who maintains his own focus and energy naturally creates space for a woman to engage freely. She is drawn to him because he is not emotionally needy or dependent on her approval. The contrast between his self-sufficiency and her own presence generates tension and desire. This polarity is essential for sustaining attraction over time. Importantly, direction is not static or rigid. A man can adjust his course, learn, and grow without losing his center. Flexibility combined with clarity signals both intelligence and strength. Women sense the difference between a man who is adaptable and one who is reactive. Adaptability rooted in purpose enhances confidence and deepens attraction. A man with purpose-driven direction also models long-term thinking. He invests in growth, health, career, and relationships with foresight. This vision inspires confidence because it communicates that he is building a life, not merely drifting from moment to moment. Women are naturally drawn to men who offer both presence and trajectory, the sense that life with him will be stable, exciting, and meaningful. Ultimately, purpose-driven direction is magnetic because it embodies clarity, consistency, and self-mastery. It signals that a man is capable, grounded, and moving through life with intentionality. Women are drawn to this energy because it offers both security and inspiration. When a man leads his life with purpose, attraction follows effortlessly, creating a relationship dynamic built on respect, admiration, and desire. One of the most attractive traits a man can demonstrate in a relationship is the ability to set and maintain boundaries. Boundaries are more than rules or limits. They are a reflection of self-respect, integrity, and clarity. Women are instinctively drawn to men who honor their own values and limits because it signals emotional strength, stability, and reliability. When a man maintains boundaries, he communicates that he values himself, which naturally inspires admiration and desire. Boundaries define where a man begins and ends. They are the invisible lines that protect his time, energy, and emotional well-being. A man who upholds these boundaries does not allow others, including his partner, to manipulate, pressure, or take advantage of him. This self-respect is magnetic because it communicates confidence without arrogance. It shows that he is not dependent on external approval, and this independence allows women to feel safe and free within the relationship dynamic. Many men misunderstand boundaries as rigidity or inflexibility. They fear that enforcing limits will push women away or make them appear controlling. The truth is the opposite. Clear boundaries create clarity and structure, which are essential for trust and attraction. When a woman sees that a man knows what he will and will not accept, she experiences safety. She knows he can handle life's challenges and maintain his integrity without being reactive or compromised. Boundaries are also a reflection of values. A man who consistently acts in alignment with his principles demonstrates that he can be trusted. Women notice subtle inconsistencies, even if they are not consciously aware of them. When a man sacrifices his standards for convenience, approval, or temporary comfort, respect begins to erode. Attraction diminishes quietly, often without confrontation or argument. By maintaining boundaries, a man protects not only himself but also the energy of the relationship. Emotional boundaries are especially important in dating and relationships. A man who can regulate his emotions, communicate openly without oversharing or overreacting, and manage conflict calmly signals stability and emotional intelligence. This ability creates an environment where connection can deepen naturally. Women are drawn to men who can hold their center while allowing her to engage authentically without pressure or emotional turbulence. Physical and relational boundaries also play a critical role. A man who respects his own needs for personal space, time, and autonomy demonstrates self-discipline. He does not compromise his routines, goals, or health for approval or attention. This signals that he is whole and self-sufficient, and women are naturally attracted to men who are complete in themselves rather than incomplete or dependent. Boundaries create polarity, another essential component of attraction. When a man holds his limits confidently, a woman experiences both challenge and safety. She is drawn to his strength without feeling controlled, and this dynamic fosters desire and engagement. Polarity thrives in an environment where both people are clear about their own needs and limits, rather than losing themselves to codependency or emotional ambiguity. Ultimately, boundaries are not about building walls. They are about establishing a foundation of self, respect, and integrity. They communicate that a man can protect himself and the relationship, making him trustworthy, strong, and magnetic. When boundaries are maintained consistently, they create an environment where attraction, respect, and desire grow naturally. A man who honors his boundaries demonstrates strength, clarity, and self-mastery, which makes him irresistible in both presence and energy. One of the most compelling masculine traits in a relationship is the ability to make decisions confidently while still considering the feelings and perspectives of a partner. Decisiveness demonstrates leadership, clarity, and inner strength, while consideration shows emotional intelligence and respect. Together, these qualities create a magnetic energy that women are naturally drawn to because it signals both competence and care. Decisiveness begins with clarity of purpose. A man who knows his goals, priorities, and values can make choices quickly and confidently. This decisiveness communicates to a woman that he is in control of his life and capable of navigating challenges. Indecision, hesitation, or constant vacillation, on the other hand, communicates uncertainty and instability, which can create subtle anxiety and reduce attraction. Women are drawn to men who can provide a steady, guiding presence without being controlling. However, decisiveness alone is not enough. A man who acts without consideration risks coming across as insensitive, domineering, or self-centered. True attractiveness emerges when decisiveness is tempered with awareness of a partner's feelings and needs. This does not mean over-explaining, asking for permission constantly, or compromising your own boundaries. It means being intentional, listening, and integrating her perspective into your decision-making when appropriate. This balance communicates respect and partnership while maintaining authority and leadership. Many men confuse decisiveness with rushing or dominating. They believe that making quick choices means they have to impose their will. In reality, decisiveness is about clarity of thought and efficiency, not control. It signals confidence because it shows that a man trusts himself and his judgment. When coupled with consideration, it communicates that he is strong yet empathetic, capable of leading without overshadowing the connection. Decisive men create security and trust in a relationship. Women are naturally drawn to men who can take the lead when necessary, whether it is planning a date, making logistical decisions, or handling unexpected challenges. When a man demonstrates that he can take responsibility for choices and outcomes, it relieves the woman from feeling the burden of decision-making or uncertainty. This freedom strengthens attraction because it allows her to engage with desire rather than anxiety. Consideration is equally critical. It reflects emotional intelligence, the ability to understand and empathize with another person's perspective. A man who shows that he values a woman's input while still making confident choices demonstrates that he is both strong and relational. This combination signals that he is not self-centered, but neither is he weak or indecisive. It communicates balance. He can lead without dominating, care without clinging, and decide without disregarding. Consistency is essential in this dynamic. Women respond to patterns more than isolated actions. A man who consistently demonstrates decisive yet considerate behavior becomes reliably attractive over time. His confidence grows credibility. His consideration grows trust, and together they deepen connection. Sporadic decisiveness or selective empathy, by contrast, creates confusion and undermines attraction. Ultimately, decisiveness coupled with consideration is attractive because it embodies mastery of both action and empathy. It signals that a man is capable, grounded, and able to navigate life while maintaining meaningful connection. Women are drawn to men who can lead with integrity and care because it creates a sense of safety, respect, and excitement simultaneously. When a man embodies both decisiveness and consideration, attraction becomes effortless, and relationships thrive on a foundation of trust, admiration, and mutual engagement. One of the most magnetic masculine traits in a relationship is consistent integrity, the alignment between what a man says and what he does. Women are instinctively drawn to men who demonstrate reliability, honesty, and follow through because it signals trustworthiness, strength, and authenticity. Attraction is not sustained by charm or fleeting gestures alone. It is reinforced over time by the subtle energy of consistency and alignment. Integrity begins with self-awareness. A man who knows his values, goals, and boundaries can act in ways that are coherent with his principles. This self-alignment communicates stability and self-mastery. When words and actions match, a woman senses that she can rely on him. She does not need to guess his intentions or question his honesty. This sense of reliability creates safety, which is deeply attractive because desire thrives in environments where trust is present. Many men underestimate how critical alignment is to long-term attraction. Small inconsistencies, broken promises, shifting priorities, or emotional unpredictability chip away at respect and desire over time. Women often notice these inconsistencies on a subconscious level. Even if she cannot articulate why she feels less drawn, the subtle mismatch between words and behavior erodes trust and diminishes magnetic energy. Consistent integrity, by contrast, reinforces admiration and emotional investment. Consistency is not rigidity. A man with integrity can adapt, learn, and grow, but he does so from a foundation of principles rather than expedience. His adaptability signals intelligence and emotional maturity, while the constancy of his core values communicates stability. This balance between flexibility and steadfastness creates a powerful allure. Women are drawn to men who are dependable yet dynamic, capable of navigating life without losing themselves in the process. Reliability in action amplifies attraction more than words ever could. Planning a date, keeping commitments, or following through on promises communicates more than saying, "I care about you." It demonstrates that his intentions are real and actionable. Over time, these consistent behaviors build trust, admiration, and emotional closeness, creating an energetic pull that is magnetic and sustaining. Integrity also reinforces emotional safety. A man whose actions reflect his words allows a woman to relax, express herself authentically, and invest emotionally without fear of inconsistency or betrayal. Emotional safety and trust form the foundation for desire, intimacy, and connection. When a woman feels secure that her partner's behavior aligns with his stated intentions, her attraction deepens naturally, effortlessly, and sustainably. Boundaries are strengthened by integrity. A man who acts consistently according to his values communicates self-respect and authority. Women are drawn to men who can enforce their limits without compromise because it signals confidence, reliability, and leadership. The interplay of self-respect, consistency, and boundary setting creates a magnetic presence that is hard to ignore. Even small, everyday actions matter. How a man treats others, responds to stress, or communicates in ordinary situations all contribute to the perception of integrity. Women notice these patterns and are influenced subconsciously by them. The cumulative effect of consistent, aligned behavior is far more powerful than sporadic gestures of charm or grandiosity. Ultimately, consistent integrity is magnetic because it signals mastery of self, reliability, and authenticity. It communicates that a man is not only capable of leading and protecting, but also of fostering trust and respect. Women are drawn to this energy because it combines strength, stability, and emotional safety, creating the conditions for deep and lasting attraction. When a man consistently aligns his words with his actions, he becomes irresistibly magnetic, and desire flows naturally without effort or persuasion.